How you doing? I'm Darren with Kickin Barbecue. If this is your first time to the channel, then welcome. If you've been here before, then welcome back. Today, it's that time again. We're talking pork butt. You gotta give it a slap. It's a pork butt. Anyways, last time we did this cook, we went 275 degrees on the Pit Boss Austin XL. We ran with just straight SPG for that Texas flavor. If you want to see that video, I'll leave a link at the top and at the end of the video. But today we're going to be doing things a little bit different. We're cooking on the Pro Series 1600. We're going to be cooking at 300 degrees, so a little bit hotter and faster. And we're going to be sweetening things up just a hair with the Sucklebuster's Honey Barbecue Rub. So let's quit the talking and just get in and get this pork butt prepped up. Okay guys, to prep this pork butt, it's going to be super simple. I'm just going to check around for any loose edges that may burn up during the cook. I'm just going to go ahead and take that off. There's a little bit of a fat gland right here. You can kind of see that, looks no good there. So got that out. See right there, we got a little bit of a gland there yet. So I'm going to go ahead and get that out. And the other thing I like to do is just feel around right here, make sure there's not any bone chips from it going through the sauce. So that's looking pretty good there. The knife I used here just to trim a few things up is the De Facto 7-inch flex boning knife. Works pretty good for stuff like this. So to prep this, I like to start on the bottom here. And then what I like to do is come in with my base of the Tailgater's Barbecue Party Rub. Just give a nice coat of that. Probably a medium coat of this. Make sure we get our sides. So we got a nice coat there. We're going to go ahead and just kind of press that in. We're going to let that kind of soak in for a minute or two here, start to draw out some moisture. You can see I'm not using a binder today. If you want to use mustard, go for it. I don't think it's necessary, but we're just going to let this soak in, kind of draw out some moisture, and then we'll come back with our little bit of sweet rub there. So now that we've gone ahead and let that kind of sit in for a little bit, we're going to come back with our honey barbecue rub, and we're just going to give a light coating of that across, nice and even. We'll get our edges. Okay, and now that we have all our edges and our fat cap seasoned up, we're going to go ahead and flip it over and take care of the top side. Come back again with our Tailgater's Barbecue Party Rub. And this is a big piece of meat, so don't worry about over seasoning it. Go ahead and press that in. And again, we'll let that sit for a few minutes, start to draw out some moisture. Okay guys, now we're going to come back in with our honey barbecue. We'll just give a nice lighter coat on top. This is going to give it some good color. It's going to give it a little bit of sweetness. Kind of everything you're wanting in a good at-home pork butt here. And I know the 1600 is going to do a good job with this. We're going to be running Bear Mountain Sweet Barbecue Blend pellets. So that's going to be delicious. We're going to get some good color from those. And then the nice thing about this prep tub is all your seasoning is contained right here. So feel free to roll around your pork butt and pick up any extra seasoning so you're not wasting it. Like I said, this is a big piece of meat. It can handle a lot of seasoning. Okay guys, now that we have our pork butt seasoned up, we're going to go ahead and let it hang out, sweat a little bit before we get it on the Pro Series 1600. You can see I transferred it to a rack. If you guys have been watching my channel, you know I'm a huge fan of cooking on racks. Makes it easy for transport. So once we get the smoker fired up to temp and we get this on, I will bring you guys back and show you how we're looking. So we'll see you then. Okay guys, it is 10 a.m. on the dot. You can see we have our pork butt on the 1600. We have our smoke tube rolling for some supplemental smoke due to the higher temp we're cooking at. Right at this point, we're just going to let this hang out for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Come back out and check it, see how it's looking, see if we need to spritz it at all. But yeah, at this point, I'm just going to go have some coffee and we will see you guys in an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'll keep you updated on the times as we come back. So we'll see you guys then. Okay guys, we are 1.5 hours into this cook. Let's go ahead and check our pork butt. Look at that, it's looking great. We got some nice color already. You can hear some sizzle. Our smoke tube is still rolling. So at this point, I'm just gonna give it a spritz with a little bit of plain apple juice here, just on the tops and the sides, keep it from drying out. But yeah, she is looking pretty good. That's some really nice color already. So yeah, we're looking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and close this down and we're gonna let it go, and we'll come out and check it in another hour and see how it's looking. So we will see you guys then. Okay guys, we are just over 3.5 hours into this cook. You can see we're set at 300. We are running at 300. So let's go ahead and check out the pork butt. That is looking great. It has phenomenal color. Our bark is all set up, nothing's coming off, so that's looking wonderful. So I'm gonna get this inside and get it wrapped up, and I will meet you in the house. Okay guys, it is now time to wrap this pork butt. You may have noticed that I did not take an internal temperature on this pork butt. Now, for those of you who do want to know, I did take a temperature and we're at about 155 to 160 degrees in this pork butt, but more importantly, the color is right where I want it. This bark looks wonderful. I mean, we have amazing color on this through and through. So at this point, I want to wrap. I don't want it to get any darker, and I want to keep the moisture in there. So the wrapping process is pretty simple. I like to use a foil pan and just throw the pork butt in there. I don't add anything else to it. It's just a foil pan. And the reason I use the foil pan is because I want to catch the drippings and the juice that come off this pork butt during the rest of the cook. And then I strain that, defat it, and then I add that back to the pork after I pull it. So this is all we're doing in a foil pan. We have 2 sheets of aluminum foil. Let me get that covered up. That's it for the wrap. We are going to get this back out on the smoker, and I will see you outside. Okay guys, we are back out at the smoker. We are running at 300 degrees. We got our pork butt all wrapped up. We got in the same spot as we were cooking it. So I'm going to let this run for an hour, and then we'll come out and get a probe in it. I know it's not going to cook in an hour, so no sense in probing it right now. Guys, if you're enjoying this video so far, please be sure to like and subscribe and ring the bell, and we will see you in 1 hour. Okay guys, it's been 1 hour. I went ahead and got the probe inserted in the middle of the pork butt. We are reading 171.8 degrees. So kind of broke through that stall. It should be going quick now. So we're gonna go ahead and let this go. And I have an alarm set for 205 degrees. That's the temp I like to go ahead and start checking for probe tenderness throughout the pork butt. So once that hits 205 degrees, we'll come out and check for probe tenderness, and I will see you then, and I'll update you on how long that takes. So we'll see you at 205 degrees. Okay guys, it has been 6.5 hours. Our alarm for 205 degrees just went off. I did come in and take a few probe feels. It feels good there. It's a little tight right there still, and a little tight here, as well as right here it's a little tight. So right there's butter, good. Just a little tight right there. So I'm gonna let this go another 15 minutes and then we'll come out and check it. I just wanna make sure everything's tender before we bring it in and rest it. So we'll give it another 15 minutes and we'll come out and check it. So we'll see you guys then. Okay guys, it ended up being another half hour. I came out and checked it at 15 and need some more time. So we are 7 hours total into this cook. I'm gonna go ahead and just check here. Everything's going in like butter. It's feeling really good. Yep, everything's feeling good. So I'm gonna get this inside and I will meet you in the house. Okay guys, we got our pork butt in the house. Now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna open this up and let it steam off. The bark is gonna be a little soggy from wrapping in foil. That's the trade-off with wrapping in foil, is things cook quicker, but the bark does get a little bit more soggy. But if you open this up and let it steam off, the bark will actually pretty much reset itself and firm back up. So at this point, we're just gonna open that up, let it steam off for 15 minutes. You can see we still have great color, great bark here. It's not too bad actually. But there is a ton of liquid in the pan. Hopefully you guys can see that. And that's gonna be great to run through the strainer, get the fat out of there, and then add it back to the meat. It's gonna incorporate moisture and flavor. It's gonna be absolutely awesome. So yeah, we're just gonna let this steam off for 15 minutes. We'll get it covered back up and we'll let it rest for half hour, hour or so. And then next time you see me, we'll be digging in and doing a taste test. So really excited to give this a shot. It looks fantastic. I love the nice barky pieces. So we will see you guys when it's time to do the taste test. All right guys, it's been an hour. Our pork butt's done, it's rested. The bark is reset nicely. So let's just go over the cook time quick. It was 7 hours at 300 plus 15 minutes venting and then about another 45 minutes to an hour rest. So let's quit chatting, let's get in and pull this pork. Okay guys, before we go ahead and pull this pork, what I'm gonna do is take our juices from the pan and I'm just gonna pour it in this separator here, and I'm just gonna let the fat rise to the top. Now to pull this pork, we're gonna go ahead and just get the bone out of there. You can see it's looking real good there. Completely clean. That looks awesome. And then what I like to do is kind of just start peeling the fat cap off and get that set off to the side. Then I'm just going to flip this over And on the bottom here, I'm just gonna go ahead and peel that fat cap off. Sometimes when these crisp up, they're actually really good. They're almost like little bacon bites, these fat caps. But this one did not do that. It was running at a good temp. So right here, you can see got some fat here. This is what's known as the bacon in the competition world. It's a little bit of meat that's under the fat cap. And when it's cooked properly, it's absolutely delicious. Hopefully you can see it's nice and juicy. I mean, look at that. That's fantastic. I'm gonna go in here and check out some more of the bacon. It looks really good, nice and moist. I mean, that is some moist bacon right there. So that'd be some nice bacon for a comp turn-in, but we're not doing that today. So now that we've gone ahead and taken the fat cap off, just go ahead and start shredding here. Look at that. Falling apart, absolutely tender. Now at this point, you can just dig in, and that is tender. I mean, that's no effort, super tender. It smells wonderful. Look at that, we got a really nice smoke ring on there, hot and fast smoke ring. And I like to leave it in a little bit bigger chunks. I don't like to have pork mush. I like to have some texture to it. Got some of the tubes here. We're just gonna go ahead and get those shredded. And I like to just go through and pull out any fat chunks I may see. I actually don't see any here. That's looking pretty good. Now, let's go ahead and do a taste test. All right, guys, so I'm really excited to try this. You know I gotta try a piece of that bark. That's my favorite part, so this looks like a good piece right here. Go ahead and give that a whirl. That's really good pork. You get the savory from the Tailgater's Barbecue Party Rub. You get the sweet from the Sucklebusters Honey Barbecue. You get the smoke from the Bear Mountain Pellets. That's absolutely fantastic. Got a bunch of bark here, and go ahead and give it another shot. Man, that is absolutely fantastic. The flavor on it is just unbelievable. And guys, this was a 7-hour pork butt. There's no sitting up all night, 16 hours, none of that nonsense. I mean, you saw how easily it's shredded. It's still extremely moist. You saw that. And it's fantastic. And so if you're in a time crunch and you want to get some good pulled pork done, give this method a shot. I mean, it really works. So once you get your pork back in your pan, go ahead and steal yourself another piece because it's so delicious. So now we can go ahead and take our strainer, and hopefully you can see that you got the fat up here, and then down below is just all the au jus. Everything that rendered out, good juices that'll incorporate flavor back into this pulled pork, and it actually keeps it really moist when you're reheating it. And I'll leave a link for this down below because I've been through a bunch of these. This works fantastic. All you got to do is just pull your trigger and add your juice back to it. And you don't have to add all of it if you don't want to. I usually do because I vacuum sealed this up. I'd say that's all fat right there. It's as good as I want to get it. So then just go ahead and toss your pork around. Now if you go back and try this, we'll go no bark on this one. Man, that flavor is wild. You add that au jus and the flavor just pops. It's fantastic. I don't even think you need to re-season it when you do it this way. I mean, you can if you want a little bit more flavor on your pulled, but that au jus just really takes it to the next level. Yeah, it's fantastic. So that's hot and fast pulled pork. You can even do it hotter and faster. I've done it 350 degrees before, but this is a good way to start learning hot and fast, especially with pork. It's pretty forgiving. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell, stay safe, and we will see you next time.